So Eliot-Spitzer running for New York City's Comptroller's office seems like a curious choice. Wrong. Awesome choice. We'll be able to control the $140 billion pension fund for New York. That would be terrific. There he could get real accountability for corporations as he would be in control of large amounts of shareholder control, which would be terrific, right? Now, I can't imagine it in better hands. Of course, America's obsessed with sex. First, he has to go on a redemption tour, and the media have to yell at him. Now, do they ever yell at the politicians who help the bankers, who get away with all sorts of crimes? I mean, for Christ's sake, our Justice Department said that our banks are literally too big to jail, that HSBC, as an example, could and did, we know, they paid a huge fine for it, right? Do transactions where they funneled money to Al-Qaeda, to Iran, to Mexican drug cartels. Totally fine. Too big to jail. No. Now, did Mika Brzezinski and others start yelling at those guys? No. They're off scot-free. Not only the bankers, but the Justice Department that said, oh, I'm sorry, I did a slap on the wrist. Yeah, it's a big fine, but it's a small percentage of the money that they made from their illegal activities. Can I send any of those executives to jail? No, I can't, because I suck at my job. I don't care about the American people. Those guys, scot-free. You're willing to, you want to sell off the American government piece by piece. God bless. But Eliot-Spitzer had the wrong kind of sex. Inexcusable. So Mika Brzezinski goes after him here on Morning Joe.
Sir, don't give me one that you prepare in your mind. Yeah. How are you different than you were 5-6 years ago? What has changed personally?
A lot of pain.
Of who you are.
A lot of pain.
That's it?
Yeah. You go through that pain, you change.
All right, former Governor Eliot-Spitzer, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Question now, controversy. Did he tear up there a little bit? Was that on purpose? Oh, drums. Oh, for Christ's sake, give him the pension fund money, man. Step back, enjoy the show. Here's a guy who could bring accountability. Every other person who's controlled the pension funds everywhere else, that's not fair to say every person, but almost every one of them. They just give the money, and then, by the way, I know, I've talked to people who used to work at Goldman Sachs. They say the biggest suckers at the tables are the guys who control the pension funds for the cities and the states. Here's who's not a sucker at the table. When you're talking about a financial business and holding people accountable, Sheriff of Wall Street is not a sucker. But no, we got to, wait a minute, sex. Cry over sex. Come on, do it. Give me a good answer. Now, look, I don't blame Mika Brzezinski for asking, right? That's a perfectly fine question. I know they're going to ask that. Mark Halperin from Time is going to press on it even further. Now, the context is, if Halperin had ever actually held any politician accountable, this would be acceptable. But all he does is play patty cakes with the establishment. When it comes to Spitzer and sex, oh, wait, now we're going to do journalism.
Are there any things people in elective office, a high office like Governor of New York, could do that involve law-breaking, lying to the public, that you would consider as a voter disqualifying, where nothing's disqualifying if a person comes back and says, look what I've done for the last 5 years, look at my great ideas? Or are there things that are disqualifying?
Like what? And I think that, again, I think we're going down here a path here where it requires more time to really parse out what that boundary is between the private and the public. Now, I'll give you something that's disqualifying. If people lie about their taxes, not having paid their taxes and all the rest, then I think that is disqualifying.
But you lied about illegal activity.
No, I lied about personal sexual activity, yes, and I did that. I'm not trying to diminish it.
You weren't lying about an affair, a consensual affair. You were lying about illegal activity.
Okay, that's correct.
Yeah, okay, oh, we got you. Illegal activity, prostitution. Come on, here's a challenge, okay? I bet I can get any man in America to break if they're on a lie detector test and I start asking them sexual questions. Any man in America. Now, I can't do it with 150 million guys in the country, but I offer any politician or anyone in the media, step up, do a lie detector test, let me run it, and I guarantee you I'll get you to lie about it. Now, the trick here is, oh, well, in this case it was prostitution, so it was illegal, and No, it's a prurient interest, it's the sex, haha, we got you. And by the way, it's not a coincidence that they got him on that. They targeted him. They looked through his bank accounts to get suspicious activity reports. It's supposed to be for money around $10,000. It wasn't for $10,000. It was a much, much lower figure, around the $5,000 ballpark. But that's because they targeted him. You think there's federal investigations to see who are Johns of prostitutes unless they were being targeted in this fashion? Come on. Watch Client Number 9. It's a great documentary by Alex Gibney on this. So I'm tired of this nonsense where journalists, so-called journalists like Mark Halperin, pretend to be real journalists when it's about sex and when it's to tear down someone who's actually against the establishment. You bring in a powerful establishment person there and watch Halperin weep. He'll be the one crying, "Oh, yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Oh, yes, you're right about everything, sir, absolutely." Please, I'd take one Spitzer before I took 1,000,000 Halperins. Well, take me a Halperin and call me in the morning. That doesn't really make any sense, but it just rolled off the tongue. Okay. All right, anyway. Bring Spitzer back!